Everyone, and we are live. This is the 6th episode of the Event Success Inside podcast with me, Chryssa Skodra, the world's first ever event success management. In this podcast series, we are discussing the latest trends with influential thought leaders, professionals, and academics in the event industry. This podcast is powered by Lyyti, the leading event success platform that enables you to create meaningful encounters and measure them as well with the unique experience value score, which is a North Star metric. Find out more at lyyti.com and eventsuccessmanagement.com. This is a live show being streamed, multi-stream live to 3 of Lyti's platforms, so LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. We are welcoming your questions as well and comments, so keep them coming. Everything will come here in front of my screen, so feel free to write any questions you might have and any ideas that pop into your head for me and my guest. Today, with me in the studio, brought to you live from the heart of Helsinki, Finland, for the rest of the world, it's a great pleasure to have the event architect and founder of Sisters Inc., one of the leading top event agencies in Finland, Mrs. Osnat Mangs. Thank you, Osnat, for joining me today.
Oh my God, what an introduction. Thank you. Thank you so much. So exciting to be here with you.
Thank you. We were just saying here how we met before. So
Yes.
we know each other from here. And then, of course, the event industry is small in Finland, but very fruitful and lots of things are happening. So I think I know you and we know each other for more than a decade.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I've had the company for 18 years almost. So we've been around for a while.
Definitely.
And the event that you described me really sounds like one of those events that we used to do back in the days.
So I have the pleasure of having, with a previous company I worked for, Osnat, organizing the event for us. And it was a great, memorable experience. So this is what we'll be talking about today in this podcast. So I have a lot of, we'll have a lot of questions to tackle, obviously. But before that, you said that you had the company already for 18 years. So could you please give us some insights into the highlights of your career as an event architect, as you call it, and what led you personally to where you are today? How your passion for events has been from? Was it from the childhood? Was it from the student years at the university? How did you become who you are today and establish Sisters Inc.?
Okay, so actually my story starts from the years of being a magician, actually. So I've been in the show business since very small. I was probably 8 years old when I started. My sister was 6 that time. And we were studying under the leading magician in Finland, in the Finland Helsinki Circus School as well. And so what happened was that we were performing and competing all around Finland and the Europe or Northern Europe. That was probably the first touch to kind of like shows and stage and the whole, like the emotional part of it, the whole impact of, how you make audiences react and
And the wow element, the surprise.
Exactly. And since then, I went to, with the same time when I was studying, I started modeling and I started doing fashion shows as a model, but also then I started, doing the choreographies for Marimekko fashion shows and different companies and doing the whole plan of the music, composing the music, not composing, but putting together the whole set, and really saw a different world of like a bigger wow aspect of that, and then again a lot of emotions through music, through light and all that. And that has actually gave me the first the taste of the world, and actually introduced me during I think 15-20 years to that part of the world, and that led after my studies to the decision that let's do something as women, because that time also in Finland 2004 2003 the business was pretty much male dominated. And so we thought that, okay, our background and all that, like visuality was super important, but you didn't see that much in the events those
So it was
days.
lacking, and you brought something new.
Yeah, we brought something new. We thought that the industry, craves really some woman power.
No, definitely, yes. Definitely. And so you established the company 18 years ago. So you are an entrepreneur and a successful entrepreneur. The company has been going strong over nearly 2 decades.
Yes.
Last week, I got the chance to interview one of the leading female people as well in the marketing business from Unilever, Dove, the Dove product line, Mrs. Priscilla Garcia. She's the global senior marketing manager for Unilever Dove division. And she has a question for you. And Priscilla had a chance to check you out in LinkedIn. So please, to everybody listening, check out Osnat Mangs' LinkedIn profile to find out more about this inspiring lady. And of course, stay tuned here so we can go in depth into today's topic. Tell us a little bit, Osnat, about your title. And that's what Priscilla is wondering. What you're calling yourself an architect instead of a creator or an event manager. And that's quite interesting. And it's a fancy title and it has a nice ring to it. So, where does the inspiration come from that, and what does it really mean in practice besides the fancy nice title when tackling customers' brief and when you're doing the work at hand? So what is an event architect? How do you understand and where the inspiration is coming from, and what does it mean in practice?
But first of all, I will go a little bit more back. The titles that are used in our field of business are many times referred to as producer or things like that. But actually, that doesn't say that much. It doesn't say enough. Producer is pretty lame, especially in our company. If we think about what a producer or what I do for my work, is so much more complex. It's not just putting things together or putting the budget together. So in event marketing, you need to have a lot of insights. Need to have a lot of understanding, right? You don't necessarily always create something new. You don't create a new bicycle. I think everything that the world has, we already it has been invented,
Exactly.
right? But the ability to kind of to use your past experiences, like the knowledge of everything you read and write or listen to, and just kind of innovate them, right?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of insights. There's a lot of, but also, the core facts, like the foundation. So as an architect, right? What does an architect do when architect builds a building, right? He needs to know about the foundation, the ground where the house is going to be, set on, and he needs to understand the materials he's going to use, and he needs to know the measurements and how to build it so that it's also a comfortable space for people to live or visit, and not just that, he needs to kind of be able to create the visually also and somehow a tempting environment result, and have all those aspects. So there's visual aspect to it, there's the technical aspect to it, there's the foundation aspect to it, there's the calculation aspect to it. So actually we realized that what we do is very similar, to an architect's work. So there's a lot of detailed elements, but then there's the big brush that you you color and you create and you impact. And that's why we felt that it is more true to the nature of our work and really tells the complexity of what is needed in our work.
Right, complexity, and as you said, seeing that bird's eye view, that holistic approach, and also being able to focus on the details. So not just the details and not just the big picture, but a combination of all those. A lot of elements, as you mentioned, disciplines, the budget, the vibe, the feel, the personality, the psychology. It's actually very multidisciplinary because it's about humans, but then it has the logistic aspect, it has the budget aspect. So event management is a very complex and multidisciplinary field of study and practice as well.
That's exactly so. But it's very fascinating at the same time. And it's a field that I feel like, 18 years almost in the business, and I feel like there's so many new things that I can still
And you're
learn.
still learning, exactly.
Yeah, still learning and reinventing in somehow, like it's
Mm.
like, as I said, it's like it's non-stopping. How do you call it? So
Yeah.
it's like
Continuous learning.
continuous learning
And exactly, this is the event success management principle. It's all about continuous learning and learning from the past and making events better and better all the time with
Exactly.
every implementation. Today's topic, Osnat, I asked you, what are some topics that could fit under the Event Success Insights podcast series umbrella? What are some topics that could be very close to your heart that you can speak for hours? And the first thing you said about, you spoke about experiential marketing, the five senses. I understood from our prep call prior to this live show that you're very interested in psychology. And so I understand that you do have an interest in human psychology and very human centric approach on how you approach your events and participant centric approach. So today's topic is engaging the five senses for a memorable event experience. So let's start by opening up the topic. Why this matters to you, why you're passionate to talk about and be the megaphone of experiential marketing in event marketing in particular.
Okay, so let's start. First of all, what is our goal? What is our mission as event marketers? What is it? It's actually to change the behavior of the participant, right? Like we're not supposed to do events for fun in some way, if you think about it, right? If we want to take event marketing as a serious channel, a serious channel of impacting our the participants, so we really need to of course, just like of course we can have those wonderful parties as well, but there should be a mission to it. So there should be a end result. There should be a result related, and so we know that we need to actually impact the change the behavior of the participant, and that's the ultimate goal. Like before the after the event, the participant should do something that he or she has not done or would have not done without the event. So it's basically, in order to change your behavior, you need to learn something, right? It's like, it can be whatever. It's like, what do we want to educate? What is the message? What is the goal that we need to like communicate to the participants? And we always come back to the core thing, which is learning, right? And so when we are in the aspect of learning, we really need to think, and content creator, we really need to think of like, how do we teach best? Which are the best ways to teach, really? Because I mean, if we don't really concentrate on that aspect, we will miss the opportunity. We will not get to the results that we really want to achieve. And so there we go to the fact of okay, so what are what is the human being? What are we kind of like? What are our assets like? What can we affect, really? So we are coming to the aspect of the senses, really, and that's the my passion and why we are talking so much about it. So how to create memorable, meaningful, impactful events, and where to kind of like, what are the really the assets and the possibilities to do so.
I would like to ask you, because you have been organizing probably thousands of successful events. Uh, you have customer briefs, different customers, and what many of your clients want different things, right? Maybe some of the briefs you're getting are very pragmatic and hands-on, and some maybe you have free hands and you go through the whole process. Would you be able to give some insights of an actual case with one of your customers, one of your clients, where you really were able to implement fully the five senses and engage the five senses in an event? And if you could give us some insights of what have you done, how you as an architect build that event so that there are touch points for each of the five senses.
Well, I think I have quite many examples of how to utilize it. I think the first thing is to understand, before we go to the examples, really, is to understand like what are the goals in each event. Like, because it's not necessarily always five senses that are needed. So we
Exactly.
have to understand like, what is the goal? What are we trying to achieve there. And we need to understand that which are the senses that we could use. Not necessarily like when we were in the virtual world, there were one sense actually missing, which was the taste or the touching point. Actually, you could cover the touching point, but let's say the taste factor was a little bit more maybe trickier, because that meant food delivered to homes, and that wasn't necessarily like within budget and so much. So there's these ground, certain elements that we need to take into account. But when we start with the briefing with our clients, is basically, again, what is the core result that they want to achieve, right? We tend to start first when we have done the thorough briefing, asking, rebriefing. We tend to start building it with actually a ROI pyramid, as where we think of like, okay, so our aim is to change the behavior, right? So in order to change the behavior, what's the teaching we need to do? First, we go to that aspect, to the content creation aspect. So what do we need to teach them? Is it via speeches or performances or some workshops, or what are the ways of learning, and
because
then
people are different. Some people read by seeing,
Yeah,
visual
yeah.
people. Some people are auditive.
Yeah.
For hopefully the ones listening to this podcast, maybe they're more auditive people. Some
Yeah.
people are very kinesthetic. They like hands-on experiences.
Right.
So we're different. So
We're
it's very
different.
complex. So
It's very complex. So, but you need to kind of decide that, right? You need to understand also the target group. So you need to have that research. You have to understanding of that, and obviously your clients are hopefully helpful in that aspect. So when you have decided like the ways of teaching, then you think about it. Okay, who is by whom, right? So you don't just select speakers or whatever act to just fill the program.
Fill the space.
Yeah, right. So you need to really like have a real good thought and behind each selection. And then when we have that, the content is basically, we have the idea, okay, these are the elements, these are the the touching points. So then we start adding up. So okay, so what how do we add the senses to the whole, like the experience, exactly. And what do they see? It's like, the first thing when they arrive, what is that the customer, it's like the whole customer journey. You create that, you think about that, and you create the touch points and the senses. So what do they see, what do they feel, what do they taste, in which point, what do they do? Do they do something? Do we activate them? We use a lot of audiovisuality. So for us, it's super important. So the whole aspect of like multi senses in a sense, so that you see, you hear, you smell, and that's very powerful. And many times I refer our work to a conductor, really. So like, you go to a concert and the conductor is there, and like there's the highs and the lows, and the whole, you can't have people's attention like 100% every second minutes, right? So you have to kind of create those highs and lows, and that changing, that it's quite challenging actually, but super fun at the same time. I hope I answered you.
Definitely. So that gives me now the follow-up question, what I've been thinking, and I would like you to touch upon. So you discuss with your clients, you set certain goals and targets, and how do you measure the event success at the end of the day, after the event has taken place and people go home, or during the event or after? How do you capture the participant experience so that you can say to your client and to yourself as an event architect that our event was successful because this and this metrics and this experience from the participant point of view has been achieved? How do you measure event success in your ways of organizing events?
Well, there's several ways. Obviously, we also use Uluti. So, like questionnaire is when I was studying Roy with Elling Hamse years ago, you know him.
Yes.
So, but basically, like he taught me the way of like, doing that type of measuring, which is actually quite basic. You go to the core of like what you need to know is you need to know, would the customer or would the participant change the behavior, would there after the event, for instance. So many times we tend to measure how the food was and how this and that was, but we are not actually asking them, would they, let's say, buy the product that we are trying to sell, or did they learn anything? Do they think that their skills got better if we tend to teach them something new, or did they get some new insights, or would they recommend the company, or whatever it is, the goal that we want them to do. So we rarely ask them about that, would they change their behavior. So already after, of course there are the specific measures that we do measure, we do ask the questions of those things, but we rarely touch the fact that would you change your behavior. So when you do the first questionnaire right after the event, you already get the understanding that how many really considers, how many has been impacted really. And but then that's not enough. So we would do another measure, another questionnaire, some 2 to 3, maybe 5 months later, and really going back and asking like, okay, did you do it? Right. And then we just get the understanding, like how many did really change their behavior, how many went to the direction that we were trying to lead them to.
And you said that you've been using Lyti. Have you been using the experience value score?
Yes,
EVS?
we have. Yes.
Have you been involved in the early discussions about EVS with Mikael Kastrem, a previous guest, Jarkko Kivikoski, our CEO, Petri Holmen? No? No, because there was a false memory that you were involved, but yet then some people remember that you were, but some not. So just wanted to clarify that you were not. But anyway, I think I like what you said about the measuring and what you do, and what you spoke about the impact. When Pine and Gilmore wrote about the experience economy in the late 90s, so every business is theater, and every stage should behave and work like a work of art. And you come from the theater, from the show world, from the magician shows and that stage performance. So I think now the transition and the evolution I see is that we're heading towards, from the experience economy, we're heading towards the transformation economy, where we want to make an impact and transform people, that they come to an event, our event, as a different person, as person X, and after the event experience, they're renewed, they're a different person. And I think it's important to measure that transformation as well. Lyti has developed, as you mentioned, the experience value score, and you're aware of that, which is this North Star metric that really captures the gut instinct of the participant immediately after the event by answering to a simple question: was my time worth it? Was it well spent? What do you think about this proposition, that how important is the element of time? Is time money in today's event participant in the event industry?
Oh, definitely. Oh, I love this question because it is. I mean, we should definitely aim to create events on the basis of the fact of like added value of time, because many times, like I will give you an example. I think what COVID did to us was actually super good, because it actually taught, at least at that point, if we were not aware of it as an industry beforehand, then during COVID, we started realizing that, okay, we can do these things. We can do events, seminars, whatever. We can do them more, in a shortened time period. I mean, like a duration, shorter time duration. We are more impactful, more. Well, I can't get the word now in English, but more impactful. Basically. So it's like tehokas. Yeah. Didn't get it.
Vive, yeah.
So the fact is that
impactful. Yeah,
probably impactful would explain that.
Powerful, impactful.
Yeah, right. We used to do things in a certain way. So there would be a seminar that's a whole day long seminar. You would have a speaker on stage for 5 minutes or maybe an hour. Like you would just, and I'm talking about general, like in the industry, we just used to do things in a certain way, because
Out of routine
out of
sometimes.
routine. And
Say
yes,
it.
and people are thinking like, okay, well, we are spending so much money already. So, I mean, if we are spending 60K or 100K, they need to sit there the whole day, right? But that's wrong. We are not, we were designing events from our own needs,
Exactly.
right? Not from the needs of our customer, of the, participants. And now we realize that even more that, hey, time is money, it's valuable. We should, always try to create an event that is most impactful in the shortest time available. If you think of, if you really understand what I mean. So basically, it's not the time, it's the content, and really like it should come from the participants basically needs, or their best in hand.
I didn't want to interrupt you, Osnat. That's very interesting discussion. Just I would like to fix a little bit your camera so we can see your full face, because you are a model. You're 2 meter tall. So let's say if you don't know Osnat Mangs, apart from an intelligent woman, she's very beautiful and powerful and 2 meter tall almost. So that's better now. So we can see your beautiful face and the whole face. So we were talking about the time investment. This is the Event Success Insights, everybody. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you have any comments, any ideas, any questions to my guest, we'll take your questions as well. I'm able to see here all your comments. So please have them coming. Either you're watching from LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube. And obviously this recording will stay forever, for eternity. Nothing goes away from the internet. Yes. The footprint will be there. So we are talking here with one of the founders, Osnat Mangs, one, right? One of the
my sister is
your sister.
the other
So
one.
both
Yeah.
sisters. So one of the founders and event architect from Sisters Inc. Let's give your website as well for people to check more information. Is it sister?
www.sisters.fi.
Yeah, sisters.fi for more information. Check out their website and find them, of course, Sisters Inc. in social media as well. So we were at the core of the matter here, talking about time well spent, the time investment, because as you said, if back in the days we would have an event with a number of participants, the biggest investment is not the cost of catering and the cost of the speaker, but it's the time resources that each participant is allocating. Because for me and everybody to attend an event, right, I'm away from work, I'm away from my family,
Your hobbies.
my hobbies,
Exactly.
right? So I make an investment
do.
that is also can be measured in monetary terms. So it's not only psychological and mental and
Yes.
in monetary terms. So what do you think, Osnat, regarding now, because you touched upon COVID and what impact COVID had, what is the future of events now? What do you see happening? Are people going to be more selective of which events that they will be clicking attend and going to? Because now I've wasted 2 years of COVID sitting at home, and now I'll be very careful which event I'm attending. Will people be very hungry to go to events and go to everything? What is your gut tell you as a professional in the event industry? Or do you have some signs already from your clients and from people you meet in the industry? What do you think?
Well, first of all, I'm advocating for that we should change, or should take the learnings of COVID and really change the way we do events, and not go back to the old times.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I advocate for, and that's what I always talk to my clients as well. I think at the moment there is a huge need for events, and I think like everybody for a second they have forgotten the everybody just thinks like, oh, we want to do events and everybody needs to attend. I think it's the trend this year, most probably this is what we are seeing. There's lots of events being planned and arranged, and I think for a second we are forgetting to kind of take the participant and their needs and that time value thing into the core, but I hope that it will change, and I'm really positive that after this alkuhuuma, as we say in Finnish, like getting back to the live events has gone, will be in the situation that our the participants, people will be more selective. They will really think, they will pick and choose. And I think that will also force our customers, everybody who wants really to impact people, their target audiences through events, they will need to really rethink how to do it, which are the channels to use, whether we are doing, is the live event. Now everybody only wants live. Nobody wants rarely, I mean, less and less people want to do virtual but you really to think all the event models that there is, and think it from the customer's perspective, the participant perspective. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think regarding the learnings that you learn as an event agency? Are there learnings that you take after each event implementation, and how do you work with your team? Do you debrief and have retrospective meetings and go down to the bottom of things, and what went right, what could be done better, what do we learn from this when we face a similar situation with our next client and our next event? How do you, as an event agency, and touch upon that, please, and then what unique you bring into, what value you bring to your clients for choosing you and having you help them in their events?
Well, first of all, we do like a debriefing internally every Monday. So it's one of our trainees once said, like, "Oh my God, you're so harsh on yourselves. That, I mean, you just did a amazing event last week." And we would, in our debriefing, in our Monday meetings, we would go through each and every event and all the aspects of it. And obviously, we would maybe dwell on the like what didn't go well or what could have gone better. Yeah, quite much. And so we are like, and she was like, "I can't understand, like, you should celebrate, it was amazing." And we want to concentrate on what could have been better.
Exactly.
So we are very we're seldom satisfied with ourselves. And I think that's actually one of the, at least for us, we feel that we want to be better. We want to, do it better all the time. So we are never like makaa laakerella. So just like satisfied with what we just did. And that is the kind of like the engine for us to the passion of being better. Actually, the passion is the key word there.
Exactly.
So we do that all the time. Obviously, we have the debriefing meetings with our clients, obviously, every time after the event. And so we go through the results, and we hear them, and like have a plan to what to do next, and what are the touch points that we should take into account. But in our work, but I think that the most that we our way of interacting with our clients is very straightforward. We basically, we say it as it is. We are their consultants. Like, we are not supposed to. If something doesn't work, we would say, like, "Listen, this doesn't work," and which we get a lot of like praises or thank yous for being frank and giving other options. In the end, it's our customer's choice, right? But it's our work to guide them through, and give them the options, and show them the possibilities, maybe the challenges, and all that. So very, very frank and kind of like honest way of communicating. That's I think the core.
I appreciate you say you spoke about straightforwardness and honesty also internally and externally as well. So internally within yourselves, being critical, what we could do to be better. And I think it has to do with the culture, whether it's your own personalities and you as entrepreneur keeping a successful business and learning from your mishaps and the feedback you're getting and your own insights, and not being too sensitive, because there's different companies or different people personality wise or from culture perspective that they might be very sensitive to feedback, that they like to put things under the carpet and not talk about things that could have done better or didn't go so well. So I think that's what distinguishes you, probably, that you bring this openness, people can relate. That brings the trust, I think, when you're open and say, hey, this went great, but it's not about celebrating our victories, but this could be better. And we
Exactly.
learn from that. That's the only way we can be better. And then being frank to your clients as well, that it's not possible. We
Yeah.
have to call it as it is. So
It
that
is.
only drives the change, I think.
Right. And it is a cooperation, right? It's like we need to be honest, brutally honest with our clients in everything, like it has to be, it is at its best, it's really a super nice, cooperation. We're working together as always, like having the enthusiasm and the passion together to do something extraordinary. Also, like, as an entrepreneur, it's like every time we fail, if we would fail big time, happily hasn't been that big mishaps, but still, like, each loss is something that I used to cry over them when I was back in the days. Now these days I can like okay, snub a little bit, but really
you can get redirected. Maybe that's everything happens for a reason, really.
Of course,
and
no,
maybe that could get better
but what I'm
direction.
trying to say is that you care. When you care about it, really matters to you. Like your clients, the event is important. It is important for you to succeed, not just to become, I don't know, it's not about monetary gainings, like it's like my pride, it's our pride.
Right.
We want to do our work well. We want our customers to succeed. We want our workers to succeed. Do you understand?
Right.
And I want to have that. I want to have that continuity. I want to offer this wonderful work to my staff in the future as well. So there's this kind of like this huge responsibility at the same time, and the entrepreneurs like passion and the interest in really, like, I love my work, and it shows.
May I ask, you touched upon the differentiating factors, and I would like to ask you about the culture and interculture aspect and the internationalization and what you bring to the table, because you look different. As you said before, you were the first women to enter the men and male dominated event industry in Finland nearly 2 decades ago, and you're still going strong. So from your background and culture background and heritage background, do you see that you bring a different value, a more open, diverse vibe into organizing events? And tell a little bit about the diversity, the international aspect of you as people, as entrepreneurs, and what the company is contributing as well to the clients.
So basically, I think, like, just in our working culture, first of all, we are very straightforward. Like, as a company, we're known of, putting the cat on the table and talking about everything, right? So we're very harsh on ourselves. So we are talking about everything very openly, very honestly. As I said, scrutinizing what we've done, very critical of what we do, and have this of strong ambition to become better and learn and succeed. I think that's one of the aspects of how we work internally. At the same time, we kiss and laugh and joke around, and they're very touchy. And as a, like, we're non-Finnish company somehow, because me and my sister, our background is, our mother is from Israel, and the whole temperamentic talking with our hands culture, which also kind of bring to our customers the way we handle, the way we interact with our customers. More warmth, and it's like basically almost hugging the first time you meet them, and it's attentive, it's caring, it's many times what we hear is that, oh, you're so enthusiastic about just the way we talk, like da da da, let's
and that's
do it.
Inspiring and
It
engaging.
is. And it's trust, people trust in
Definitely.
that, like they see that you really care. It's not like, oh, whatever.
So definitely. Definitely, I can feel it. And with you speak with not only with your gesture but with your eyes, where you're looking at me. I see you now, and your smile and your eyes. So I think that hopefully translates from the screen as well. Look at this smile. So here we are at Event Success Insights podcast with Osnat Mangs from Sisters Inc. So I would like to ask you, before we close, is there anything now top of your mind that you absolutely want to share with the audience, with everybody, to remember? Is there anything, any trends that you see in emerging in the event industry? Is it something that you absolutely want to preach about?
Well, I think I preached quite much earlier. I would just say that every time we create the events, we should always do it from the participant aspect. So we really need to not to think what we would like, what we want. Obviously, there are the targets that we need to achieve, but it's more about what are our customers, our participant interested of, what is the added value for them, why would they attend, just to ask the question, would I go, would I attend, is there something that is something like, do I teach them something new that they, why would they come? People don't go for after free pens that much or free dinners, right? I mean, there has to be something more, something that they will
Touches them and
I mean, something
makes them
that
take
they
action.
gain from it, right? So always ask the question, would I attend? Why would they come? And would I attend? I think those are the most important if they, when you start planning an event.
You heard Osnat. Would you attend? Would you care? So try to think that question. So that's a nice tip. Osnat, I would like to thank you for attending today here at the Event Success Podcast. I would like you to ask a question to my next guest. Is there any question that you would like to for my upcoming guest to answer to?
Can you please go through again who was your upcoming guest?
I had a cancellation, so I'm discussing now with a few more people. But regardless of the guest, what would be a question that anybody in the event industry, from your point of view, could give some insights? Maybe something that what you're passionate about, or what we discussed today, or anything else.
Well, I'm actually always interested in the fact of that there is so little of measuring actually happening in our industry. I think I've been advocating for it for at least let's say the 10 last years, and I'm thinking like, is there how would your next speaker, next guest, what would be his or hers advice for the measuring part? So what would they measure if they when they measure the events? What is the most single important thing for them when measuring events? And let's say they can't say loot is the customer experience. The EVP,
The experience value score.
Exactly. Something else. Come up with something else.
Right. Okay. So I would like to thank you once more, and I have some little gifts for you here. I'll pass them like this. So here you are.
Oh, thank you.
You can. I have a challenge with my guests. So, Osnat, I would like you to, if you like to take the challenge, of course, to wear this Luti branded hoodie or blouse, what it is, in one of your next events for a few seconds, as long as you want. And I want you to take a picture of yourself and send that picture to me. I'll have a contest, who wore it best. And I want you to tell about the event that you're organizing at that time. Maybe it's meeting with your team or something. So would you take that challenge?
I will take that challenge. I can't promise you that I will do it immediately in the next event, because that's like a high level event that I think my customer will kick me out if I have anything else but a really smart business outfit. But I will definitely do it. If not in the following one.
All right. And for a few seconds, you don't have to wear it, obviously, for the next occasion throughout. So, of course, you look professional and sharp. And here I have some material for you, the experience value score. Check out, everybody, luti.com, experience value score, the North Star metric that answers to the simple question, was my event worth my participants' time, having the participant at heart of our interest, or was it wasted? Was it worth it or wasted? Then we have the event marketing playbook and a nice pen. And here I have the Luti mug. Let me open it for you. I'll pass it to you. So it's a Ludy branded mag and says event. Here it is. Event Success Community. So Event Success Community, please find us on LinkedIn and Facebook. Join the conversation there in the community. So I'll pass those to you so you can sip your coffee in the morning. Oh, here you are, Oliva.
Kiitos. Thank you.
Hopefully you can carry them in your bag, right?
I can. I have
Oh,
a big
great.
bag.
So once more, thank you, Osnat Mangs, founder and event architect at Sisters Inc. Check sisters.fi for more information about what those interesting ladies and their team of event architects and event professionals are doing. And yes, thank you. And let's have lunch one day because I'm not able to offer it now as you have to run for a board meeting, right?
Yes, I have a board meeting in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for letting me, like having me as a guest and interesting discussion.
Great. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. So bye from us next Wednesday with my new guest.
Bye.